I have to stop checking Twitter before I go to bed because it's keeping me up because the takes are making me crazy. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Nick DiMartino. That's Zain Bando. That's Will Charlton. This is another edition of Forever Power 5. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at FP5ETB and at Forever Power 5, no capture spaces on TikTok. You can follow me on Twitter at Nick DiMartwill, at Will Charlton H13, and Zain at Zain Bando 99. You can watch all Empty the Bench shows on youtube.com/ETB Network, and you can listen to Forever Power 5 wherever you get your podcasts. And make sure to like and subscribe on all platforms. And this show is presented by Playback. Stay tuned for later in the show to find out more. All right. So a whole lot of coaching news this week.
Lots of
coaching news. Lane Kiffin dips leaves Ole Miss to go to LSU. And I wouldn't describe this move as shocking because it's very characteristic of Lane Kiffin to leave a school to go to leave. It's not only characteristic of Lane Kiffin, it's very characteristic of college football coaches in general to make a move like this, but especially a guy like Lane Kiffin. So I'm not really shocked by this. There's a whole lot of details to this. It's a really bad look for Lane Kiffin, not because he's leaving for the better job. I mean, the truth is Ole Miss offered to match the amount of money LSU was going to pay him anyway. But even so, Lane Kiffin has every right to leave and go to LSU. Where I think people take issue with it is that he quit on his team. He was Ole Miss finally made it to the playoffs.
They've had their best year in program history.
Oh, no question about it.
Yeah, I mean, certainly. And then he quits on his team right before to go for the next job, for the next thing, which is what I think most people are taking issue with. For me, who I feel really bad for are the players. That's who I really feel bad for, to have their coach quit on them right before they're about to make a playoff run. There's a whole lot of angles here about what happened. Like, one of them is just the calendar. That's a big part of it. Why is it that coaches can leave in the middle of the season?
The calendar's so stupid. I hate the calendar so much.
Yeah,
a lot of people do. You're not the only one, Will. A lot of people do.
Well, the thing I think what pisses people off the most is that this is not an issue in any other sport. It's only an issue in college football.
Did you guys hear what Joey McGuire, the Texas Tech head coach, said about the calendar?
No, what did you say?
I don't think I heard it. No, can you summarize it? I don't think I heard it.
Yeah, so basically he was saying if instead of week 0, so the week that's week 0, you can make that week 1, and then you play your regular season with buys and everything. The regular season ends obviously the week before Thanksgiving. The conference championship would be the week after Thanksgiving instead of the final week of the regular season. And then if you carried it on, it would be semifinal or first round the week after, quarterfinals, semifinals, championship. And then the championship will be played on New Year's Day. And then the transfer portal opens up on January 2nd. So in an ideal, he was saying, in an ideal world, the season could be over before the transfer portal opens. And it's I know we're not talking about the transfer portal here, but it's it also has to do with the head coaching calendar too. It's because that also impacts the head coaching calendar too. Because the whole calendar is messed up. I highly recommend for you viewers to go check out that video. What McGuire said, he kind of nailed on the head, in my opinion. But
he's probably not the first person. I like the idea of college football season ending on New Year's Day, and you play in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah,
is the national championship.
Absolutely.
You make the Rose Bowl the national championship game. I wouldn't mind that at all.
I think that'd be so fitting, personally.
It would be. I mean, it would take away from the tradition of the Rose Bowl. But since there's no Pac-12 conference anymore, that ever since the playoffs started, actually, the tradition of the Rose Bowl completely died. But if you were to make the Rose
I was about to say, does tradition in college football even remotely make sense anymore when everybody's just playing by different rules anyway when it comes to all the theatrics of
I don't even
everything.
think
I mean,
tradition in college football
doesn't seem as streamlined as it used to be.
Yeah, I agree. Ever since the playoffs started, the tradition of the Rose Bowl has never quite been the same anyway. Because
No,
I mean, one year we saw Oklahoma and Georgia play in the Rose Bowl, and it's like
that was a great game, though. That was a great game.
It was
that
a great game, but
fantastic
that's like a
game.
Sugar Bowl or a Cotton Bowl game. That's
Yeah.
not a Rose Bowl game. Like that seems a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
And now with the 12-team playoff, it's permanently done. So I guess it doesn't really matter anymore. I guess the only issue with that in terms of making it happen would be the politics of it all, because I think that would be a big issue. But I personally like that idea and making that the calendar. And then in January, college football season is over. The only thing I don't necessarily love about that is starting week 1 at week 0. Week 0 is a weird time. It's still the middle of the summer. It feels like I've always thought college football should maybe start a week later. And then the playoffs can start, like you said, like after Thanksgiving. I feel like that would make a little more sense. One of the things I don't like about the calendar is that like we wait so long between the conference championship games and the playoffs, or at least we used to.
I know it's so stupid to have like a week and a half, 2 weeks in between games. Just like, come on, man.
And the national championship is like it's 9 days later after
It's
like
in
the
middle
last
of January now. It's like we're the what is it? The college football national championship is the same week as the NFL divisionals. Like, come on, man. Like that's so late.
The way I would like to do it is in college football is to have the season end on January 1st, which would be right before the start of the NFL playoffs. I would like that idea because I would rather the NFL playoffs and the college football playoffs not be competing with each other.
And for the current calendar, that makes the most sense. I mean, like, because of the fact the transfer portal opens up on January 2nd. I mean, you saw it last year as a prime example of Penn State. Bo Prevula just had to leave Penn State, and his team was still playing.
Yeah, exactly. That should not be allowed. Like, there does need to be a fixed calendar. Rick Pitino tweeted was spot on.
Yes,
he said, "Look,
as
a coach of St. John's, imagine if we were about to make, like, we're a 1 seed. Imagine if I had left the team in March."
It's the same deal.
That's what it is, though.
He's right. He's 100% right.
Any better than how he said it.
And the thing is, there's a way to solve the problem when this is the only league this seems to be an issue with. Like that, I really think that's all it needs to be is to fix the calendar. Maybe there's a dark period where you're not allowed to hire or recruit. That's kind of how it should be. I think that would make a lot more sense than what we have now.
It makes too much sense.
Yeah, so I don't know why they don't just do that rather than.
That is what December is turning into, where coaches can't go on the road to recruit their upcoming classes, the 27 and 28 classes. It's a rather new thing that they've started to where December is basically a dead period.
Yeah, so I personally would like, because we can't have this. We can't have coaches leaving when they're about to make a playoff run. And it's like Brian Kelly and Lincoln Riley did the same thing, but it's not the same thing because they were going to a useless bowl game. Exactly. They weren't playoff teams. It's totally, if there were a 12-team playoff at the time, both of those teams probably would have been playoff teams. But now with the 12-team playoff, there's the potential for this to happen, and it might happen again. Like, it's not like this is going to be the last. Lane Kiffin's going to be the last one to do this if this calendar stays.
Well, what also cracks me up is that Lane Kiffin asked to stay for the football for the.
What is asshole?
It's like, I mean, are you serious? Are you serious? You're really going to have the audacity to leave right now and be like, "Oh, can I stay?" No, you can't stay. Like, come on, like,
Lane Kiffin.
Seriously, like, what are we doing here?
Like he's asking to like still remain coaching the team.
I'm kind of shocked when the OC stay, to be honest.
Well, it's like. You can't have a guy who's on the way out continuing to coach.
No,
like you can't allow that as a team. That's ridiculous.
Like, it's one thing for like John Sumrall is going to Florida, being able to still coach Tulane. That's one thing because he's going to a bigger job. Like, sure, I get that. But this situation is just objectively hilarious. Like, what?
Yeah, it is.
How in his right mind does he think that they'd allow him to do that?
He's going to a rival.
Yeah, literally. They play in Oxford next year. It's like. That game is going to be must-see TV, man.
Oh, that'll be as popcorn worthy as you could possibly get.
Oh, that'll be fantastic.
That's going to be pretty amazing.
That's gonna be like record-setting Saturday Night Football ABC type numbers. It's gonna be absurd. It's gonna be so absurd. The Lane Kiffin Bowl is what they'll
they'll call it the Kiffin Bowl.
Yeah.
The Kiffin Bowl is what they'll call it. Yeah. So look, college football, the bottom line is they need to get this together. We can't be
they sure do.
Because here's the thing, coaching in college football is so impactful. How do you even evaluate how good of a team Ole Miss is without like Lane Kiffin as the head coach? Somebody else calling the plays, how do we really know how good they are? Because coaching matters a lot in college football.
Well, that's also why like they brought up the fact of like, what's the difference between this team and Florida State 2 years ago? Like, why put Ole Miss in the playoff now? Like, why should you?
Well, the difference is that
I personally disagree with it. I'm just saying, like, I get the argument.
Yeah, I think the difference is that Florida State 2 years ago lost their quarterback, and they also played a couple of games, and the committee was able to reevaluate them. So it's a little bit different as opposed to the head coach leaving. It's still the same. I don't think it's
because then there's no formal sample size post Kiffin that isn't a playoff game. That's why
I would understand maybe if he had left with like 6 games left in the season and then Ole Miss kind of fell apart after that would be a little different.
100% different.
They're going to host a game though. I mean, they're solidified as a host in the first round.
Yeah, and they're a good team. Like Ole Miss is a really good team, and they're a good team because of Lane Kiffin. Like Lane Kiffin, make no mistake, is not very well liked, and he wasn't well liked before this, but he is a very, very good college coach.
Absolutely.
He wasn't even well liked in the NFL in the mid 2000s.
No, he wasn't. And all of his and the funny thing about Lane Kiffin is that every single one of his exits is messy. Like he never leaves on good terms, it seems like.
Even the Florida Atlantic exit too.
I
don't remember that one.
I think that was just the upgrade to Ole Miss. I'm pretty sure that was just that.
Okay.
But
yeah, he wasn't going to stick around.
Especially his exit from Tennessee to USC like
that
years
one,
ago.
That
was ugly.
That one was so bad.
And then getting fired from USC for the whatever it was, like
the DUI thing or whatever.
Yeah, what the DUI thing or whatever it was. Yeah, I can't remember what it was exactly.
By the way, how many like really good head coaches has USC fumbled on that they fired? They fired Lane Kiffin. They fired Sark. USC really does seem to fumble a lot on good head coaches, and then they leave and they build up other programs. USC they're almost like the Vikings of college football.
Pete Carroll dipped for the Seahawks and won the Super Bowl.
Well, that was different. Pete Carroll left, and the reason Pete Carroll left was the same reason Urban Meyer left. It was a scandal that he wanted to escape from.
No, for sure, which is exactly what he did.
That's how a lot of great coaches leave, by the way, is during a scandal.
That's true.
Jim Harbaugh, most recent example.
Harbaugh, Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer did that at Florida and at
Ohio State.
Yeah, true.
And at Ohio State.
Just gets up and retires one year.
Well, at Ohio State
for a second time.
Yeah.
Well, I actually think that his successor is doing a pretty good job, though.
Yeah, his successor ain't too bad, is he?
No, I don't disagree at all. I mean, under Ryan Day,
16 straight games now since they lost.
Under Ryan Day, Ohio State has had some of the best position players. They've had some of the best running backs and wide receivers.
100%.
And not to mention, that doesn't even talk about their defense. They've had some of the best defenses too under Ryan Day.
Oh yeah.
And the crazy thing is that Ryan Day has been the head coach there almost as long as Urban Meyer was.
That's so crazy to think about, actually, now. Because I mean that checks out.
Urban Meyer was the head coach of Ohio State for 7 seasons.
That's correct, and he never lost to Michigan.
And this is Ryan Day's 7th season, but they each have a national championship. You can't take that away from Ryan Day. And to be fair, to say Urban Meyer never lost to Michigan, let's get real. They were not competing against the same Michigan teams. Ryan Day had
those were during the dark ages of Michigan. Didn't they have like Rick Rod during that time? And they had
Brady Hoke.
Brady Hoke. Yep. Yeah, I was going to say those were Michigan's down years.
Yeah. For the first 4 years, you're right. It was the dark ages of Michigan that Ohio State, that Urban Meyer was beating. Ryan Day he at least was playing against Jim Harbaugh Michigan teams for most of his tenure at Ohio State. So I do think it's a little different.
It's
but
true, though. They still count, though. They still
some other
count.
coaching news. Kentucky fired Mark Stoops, and they hired Will Stein. He was the guy from the offensive coordinator at Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon.
And the funny thing about Mark Stoops is that I never thought he would get fired. I guess he couldn't.
You never thought he'd get fired.
I mean, if he was there for as long as he was, I don't blame Nick for saying that. I mean, how long was he there for? Like 12.
I mean, Mark Stoops is like a government employee. Like I don't. Mark Stoops was there since 2013.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was
For
like
an SEC
it was over 2 seasons. Yeah,
for the SEC, because he couldn't. What happened was he couldn't reach Kentucky's mighty high standard of 6 wins this year.
Mighty high standard. Yeah,
it's true though. He couldn't.
Yeah.
Because in college football, all you have to do. I mean, in college at Kentucky, all you have to do is win 6 games. And
all you have to do is beat the same 6 teams every year. And if you beat Louisville, it's a bonus.
Yeah, and one of them, 3 of them are like
41 zip to them.
2 or 3 of them are basically like paid wins. You don't even need to be 500 in the SEC. All you got to do is make a bowl game every year at Kentucky. That's why I always like to compare them to Iowa. But they hired the guy from the offensive coordinator at Oregon. I guess
who's a very bright coordinator, by the way, and knows how to develop so far some pretty darn good quarterbacks, if I do say so myself. So,
yeah. Well, how much of that is him, or is it Dan Lanning?
I mean, I think.
Well, he's got to thrive under an offensive system that's not led by Dan Lanning. I mean, Dan Lanning's he doesn't run the offense, so I mean, he's got to obviously develop the quarterbacks himself and his system. That's so true. I mean, Will Stein obviously has a solid system to have guys like Dante Moore and Dylan Gabriel and Bo Nix and stuff like that. But
oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I also want to talk about other coaches that are on the hot seat. And by the way, UCLA, they hired Bob Chesney, the guy from James Madison.
The Big Ten team hired a James Madison coach. It's going pretty well so far, I'd say.
So far, so good.
I was surprised they didn't give the job to Jerry Neuheisel, though. I was a little surprised. I thought maybe Jerry Neuheisel would get it. I think some of these teams want to go out and
I'll be shocked if he stays the OC there, though.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's proven enough to be a head coach yet. I mean,
I don't think he has. That's the thing. I don't think he has. That's the thing. I don't think so.
I guess that's a fair point. I also think some teams would rather go out and make a big splash hire. I don't know if this counts as a big splash hire, but a lot of teams want to go out and get and hire a head coach rather than get a guy in-house. Some teams like doing that.
Well, that's exactly what Michigan State did by hiring Pat Fitzgerald. I mean, you want to talk about a guy that was in the Big Ten forever. He's the epitome of that.
Well, that's also what they did when they hired Jonathan Smith.
He took Northwestern to heights that Northwestern should never even think about getting to.
No.
Yeah.
Correct. He won 5 of their 8 bowl games in their entire program history. He was the coach.
And it seems like with these coaches on the hot seat, it seems like the coaches getting fired the most seem to be in the SEC. It seems to be a pretty big thing in the SEC this year.
Oh, for sure.
It's just if you don't win a national championship in your first 2 years, you're going to get fired.
Is anything harder than coaching in the SEC? No. I mean, they have outside of Mark.
There's such little room for error. I mean, there's such little room for error in the SEC. And
yeah, the only
actually genuinely absurd.
Fans expect so much. Like they expect way too much for certain programs, like Arkansas.
Yeah,
let's be honest here.
That was a horrible hire.
Like Florida, yeah, I know they have national championships in 06 and 08, but the expectations should not be that high. LSU is one thing because they have a really recent national championship, but like, I don't know. I mean, I guess talk about Kentucky too. It's like Mark Stoops has taken them to at least 6 wins, I feel like, in a handful of his seasons. But
you're forgetting a really big one too. Auburn.
Auburn, right? Yeah, duh.
I mean,
yeah.
they fired Hugh Freeze after what, 3 seasons? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, literally. I mean, I guess,
and they were actually competitive there.
They were getting better. They were getting better.
Oh, yeah, they were. I mean, I know they kind of had the cold stretch there at the end of his time there, but I mean, a few plays go their way. They beat Oklahoma on the road. They beat Georgia at home. Like Auburn could have been a whole different team this year.
I mean, yeah, the truth is they could have.
I can guarantee you, if they would have won one of those games, he would have still been retained as the coach.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
I mean, the game against Oklahoma, they got screwed by the refs on a whole bunch of plays.
It was horrible, absolutely horrible.
And also, towards the end of the game, Jackson Darnold couldn't stay on his feet.
True.
Jackson Arnold. That's my Jets fan trauma. But yeah, I think the biggest issue with Auburn is that they could just never get their quarterback right. I think that's one of the biggest issues. Auburn's an interesting program because that's a team that we've seen.
I mean, besides Bo Nix, when was the last time that Auburn had a really, really good quarterback besides Bo Nix and Cam Newton?
Nick Marshall.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Marshall was the quarterback on that 20.
What's his name? Jarrett Stidham.
Yeah, Jarrett. I was going to say Jarrett Stidham. Yeah,
these were mostly in the Gus. This was mostly in the Gus Malzahn era.
Right.
By the way, another head coach who got a raw deal at Auburn was Gus Malzahn. I mean, Gus Malzahn is so overqualified to be an offensive coordinator at Florida State. I mean, if there's anybody, by the way, the one team, if you want to talk about this whole coaching carousel, like the team that's losing the whole coaching carousel is Penn State. I mean, Penn State got a head start. They fired James Franklin before all of these other teams fired their head coaches, and they all
still don't have a coach.
Nope. And now they're just thinking about promoting the interim to become their head coach now because they've run out of options.
Yeah.
And they have I saw that they have the 136th recruiting class out of 136 FBS teams right now.
Yeah, that's
horrible. Like, why? I think a good hire for Penn State would be Gus Malzahn. I don't see why they can't go hire Gus Malzahn. I think that would be a pretty good hire for Penn State. Gus Malzahn he would be a very
bravado, charismatic hire. Or he would.
I mean, do you guys think
have that flair to him?
Burned out a little bit because he was terrible at UCF too.
It's true.
That's before UCF was a Big 12 team.
Yeah, exactly. Though I mean, the thing is, I don't know who's going to be.
Might have burned out a little bit. Like, yeah, I get he had some good years at Auburn in the late 2000s, early 2010s, but it's like
that was a long time ago.
But
his
even
team might have burned out.
But it wasn't just in the early 2010s. I mean, in 2017, Auburn, they were playoff. They almost made the playoffs that year.
They lost to the national champions in the Peach Bowl.
Well, yeah, the national champions that year. No, they lost to. If they had beaten Georgia in the SEC championship game, they would have gone to the playoffs. They beat Alabama that year. Auburn that year was very, very good. And they were good with Bo Nix when he was their quarterback under Gus Malzahn. I view Gus Malzahn similar to the way I view Doug Peterson. His entire career has not been great, but I do know that he's a very good coach and he has the potential. That's how I think Penn State hiring Gus Malzahn would be a pretty good hire. I think it would be a better hire than hiring their interim head coach. Not that the interim head coach would be a bad hire, but I'd rather make a big splash hire, I feel like.
I mean, they need to. They need to at this point, but I don't think they will. I think they're going to end up promoting the interim to be their new guy.
I mean, I don't know how you guys feel, but I mean, do you think the way Terry Smith has not restored per se, but has rallied his guys to get to a bowl game, that's like a decent hire, or is that horrible?
It's not.
I can't figure it out. Will, what do you think?
I mean, it's like yeah, they've won 3 straight games, obviously, and you can't discredit that. But I mean, besides the Nebraska game, the Rutgers game was ugly, and then the Michigan State. Well, I guess the Michigan State game was pretty convincing too. But
no, Michigan State game was super convincing. Michigan State was barely in the game. The score did not indicate how not close the game was.
I mean, I guess based off, obviously they struggled against Rutgers a bit, and they
nearly beat Iowa his first game he coached.
That's true. They did almost go into Kinnick and win that game. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, it's obviously considering
and
that
they nearly beat Indiana. They were like one play away from doing that. They were really damn
close. I did call that on this podcast too. By the way, I did call out that Penn State was going to give them a health game.
Yeah, you did. They're 2 plays away from being an 8-4 football team with an interim coach.
Yeah, they're insane catch away from being in a different position there.
But he's also taking the same team that James Franklin had, and it's like, okay, I think he's done a fairly good job with a team that has whose souls are just totally crushed. I think that's true. That doesn't mean he's the best hire to make.
No, right. I'm just saying based on the options they have.
Yeah,
Gus Malzahn is an option. And by the way, if they hadn't sat on their feet, hadn't been dragging their feet this whole time, they probably could have made a good hire. I would hire Gus. I would try to get Gus Malzahn. I think that would be a good hire.
Will they try to get BYU's coach, and that backfired at the last minute?
Yeah. Well, there were also rumors.
Got extended.
Yeah, Sataki. I think. I'm actually kind of surprised. Like I'm surprised he wouldn't. Their head coach wouldn't have left to go to Penn State because Penn State's a better job. But I was. I think that if they didn't just sit on their drag their feet this whole time, maybe they could have made a better hire. It's not that their interim coach would be a bad hire necessarily. I just don't think it's the best hire that they could have made. I remember there were Kalen DeBoer rumors actually that like Penn State would hire Kalen DeBoer, like he's going to leave Alabama.
There were for a little bit. I do remember that. Yeah, there were.
I don't know where any of that came from. It sounds completely.
I have no clue where any of that came from either.
Yeah,
it didn't even make sense to me. Yeah, I just think that Penn State is losing the most. They are the biggest losers in the whole coaching search.
Well, yeah, you have to recruit for next year now. It's crazy. Like there are some FCS teams that had better recruits coming in than Penn State does right now.
Well, that's the thing with hiring Terry Smith. That's always going to be a concern because he's currently coaching the team, but how good of a recruiter is he? That's always going to be an issue. And
I think he was a huge part of recruiting when Franklin was there. I think he recruited most of the guys that Franklin would usually get.
Maybe that might be true.
I mean, I feel like it's kind of a by committee type of deal when you're recruiting. So yeah, that probably has to be true.
But somebody like the reason I like Malzahn as a hire is one of the biggest problem with Penn State has been their offense. I think much more than their defense, at least this season. James Franklin is an offensive-minded head coach, but I think Gus Malzahn is like an offensive genius. Another big name they could hire, though I don't think this would ever happen, is Chip Kelly. He just got fired from.
I mean, he'll be looking for a job somewhere, obviously.
But I don't think Chip Kelly wants to coach in the Big Ten.
I don't think so either because he's already done it.
Well, as an offensive coordinator,
right.
If anything, they would hire him as a coordinator. If anything, I could see happening. But I mean, I think Chip Kelly, he did a great job at Oregon building up that program.
Oh yeah, I mean that's how he got his name as a coach.
All right, I do want to talk about the new college football playoff rankings, and I have to stop checking Twitter before I go to bed because it's keeping me up because the takes are making me crazy. So the college football playoff rankings finally came out. Let me just bring them up for a second. They came out last night, of course, right after I did my other podcast. So the current rankings for Week 14. In terms of the top of the rankings, I really don't have much of an issue with it. I think Texas A&M dropping to 7 is perfectly fair.
Yeah.
I think the big topics of discussion involve, Notre Dame being ranked ahead of Miami. One of my biggest criticisms, I think, is that USC might be ranked a little too low. I would probably rank them ahead of Vanderbilt and Utah, but it almost doesn't matter at this point. Even Michigan, I think, might be ranked a little too low. But a whole lot of there's a whole lot of takes about the college football playoffs, and they're driving me crazy. A few of them are driving me crazy. One of them are people freaking out about Notre Dame being ranked ahead of Miami when Miami beat them head to head. And it's like, I really just don't take issue with that ranking at all.
Well, yeah, you got to look at the body of work. I mean, the body of work suggests that Notre Dame is the better team, which
because Notre Dame has pounded everyone.
If you put them on a neutral field again, like I pick Notre Dame.
I pick Notre Dame too.
Yeah,
but Notre Dame also.
It's not even just that though. It's like Notre Dame is ranked ahead of Miami for the same reason Oklahoma is ranked ahead of Texas. I mean, how are so many people bringing up Notre Dame being ranked ahead of Miami and Oklahoma not being ranked ahead of Texas? I mean, it's literally for the exact same reason. Not only that, Oklahoma.
It's because the reason why is because it's because people have certain biases and they're not willing to admit when they're wrong. But when their narrative is crumpled a little bit, they fold and go back to their own ways with their own takes that don't fully add up. That's the reason.
Right, but also A&M is like 6 spots. Oklahoma is 4 spots ahead of Texas, 5 spots ahead of Texas, and A&M is 6 spots ahead of Texas, and Texas just beat Texas A&M. It's like the teams that win are not always ranked ahead of the teams that they beat.
No.
And it's for the same exact reason. So I don't understand why it's such an issue. I would agree if they had very comparable resumes. If you're like, look, I don't know which team I'm going to put ahead of the other, then I'll just pick the team that won head-to-head. But their resumes are not remotely comparable. Notre Dame lost by a combined 4 points to Miami and Texas A&M.
Yep.
Miami lost to 2 unranked teams since then. So
and that Louisville loss looks terrible now, too.
Yeah, the Louisville loss was terrible. The SMU loss was terrible, or at least, I mean, they could have been worse.
The
but they were
SMU loss is like, it's acceptable because it's on the road, but it's also like one that they should not have lost. You know, it's like
right. And the thing is that like I would agree if they were being compared. But the truth is that the way the rankings work is that the committee doesn't look at all the teams in like the FBS and compare all of them because that would be impossible.
No.
Like they compare certain groups of teams. They pair teams together. So the way they probably did it, I would guess, is the way the committee probably did it is that they compared Ohio State, Indiana, Georgia, and Texas Tech. And then they compared Oregon, Ole Miss, A&M, Oklahoma, Alabama, Notre Dame. Probably something like that. And then they compared BYU, Miami, Texas, Vanderbilt, USC. That's probably how they did it. Right. So Miami and Notre Dame, the head-to-head probably didn't come up because they weren't being compared to each other. That's probably what happened. But for everybody mad about that, it's like Oklahoma's ranked ahead of Texas. A&M is 7 spots ahead of Texas, and Texas just beat them.
Don't lose to 4-8 Florida.
Right. Well, exactly my point. And also, if you were to put Miami ahead of Notre Dame, you would have had some just because they beat them head to head, you would be drawing some really absurd conclusions.
It was also week one. Like we talk about all the time. Week one, just you throw it out the window. I mean, it's like week one is never a telltale sign of how a team's going to be in a season.
No,
you could argue the same thing in college that week one isn't a telltale sign. You could argue even the same thing all the way as far as the NFL that week one isn't a telltale sign either.
No, you're absolutely right. And here's the thing, though. People are saying that the game didn't matter. And that is such bullshit because the game did matter. If Notre Dame had beaten Miami, Notre Dame would be like in the top 5 probably. They'd be ranked ahead of Oregon if they had beaten Miami.
They probably would be a top 5 team. I don't know if they ranked Texas
because quite frankly, Oregon's resume is garbage. It's a terrible resume.
And Miami, they would be like, if Miami had lost to Notre Dame, Miami would be ranked below USC. So Miami would be like 4 or 5 spots lower.
I don't think Miami would be ranked there 9-3.
I don't think so either.
No, I think they would be because I think they would be because we also have a 9-3 Michigan, a 9-3 Arizona, but I think
they have much more respectable losses than Miami does.
True. And the thing is, though, it's like that's and a lot of people would say that the difference between comparing Texas and Oklahoma is that, well, Texas has 3 losses and Oklahoma has 2 losses. But that's not why Oklahoma is ranked ahead of Texas. It's not the number of losses, it's the body of work. Correct. I mean, if Texas had not lost, like if Texas had scheduled Rice or something like that, or some other Power 5 team that they ended up beating that wasn't as good, like I don't think their ranking would be any different. I don't think Texas losing to Ohio State even really hurt them. I don't think it mattered that much.
No, I don't. This is a debate we've had for a really long time, at least the last couple of weeks. But we'll go right ahead.
Yeah, no, sorry. I was just saying, like, I hate the fact that people are saying, like, why even schedule the games? Oh, win at Florida. Florida is terrible. Beat Florida on the road. They lost at home to South Florida. That's the problem here. People are acting like it's, why schedule the games? Like, beat Florida. I mean, literally, it's like if Texas is a 10-2 team right now, they are solidified. Like, there's not a discussion about it. That's the issue here. It's like you lost a terrible game.
Here's the thing.
The fact that people are trying to blame the Ohio State loss for it's like, no, that doesn't hurt your resume. You lost to 4-8 Florida.
And by the way, I'm a big believer that teams should not be punished for scheduling tough non-conference.
They shouldn't
lose. But I don't think that's why Texas is ranked where they are. Like, the reason is because their resume has so many blemishes on it. I mean,
and lost to 25 at Georgia. It's like that's not great either.
And they have some horrible. Not to discount them even further, but I'm sure you guys would agree. They have some ugly wins.
Horrible,
terrible wins.
They needed overtime to beat Kentucky and Mississippi State, and I'm just like, their resume is really not that good. I don't think it matters that they have 3 losses. If they could be a 2-loss team, and like I said, if they had scheduled, I don't know, Wisconsin, say in the non-conference, and they have beaten Wisconsin instead of losing to Ohio State week 1, for instance. In that scenario, Texas would be ranked exactly where they are. So it's not about the number of losses. That's not what should matter, and that's not always what the committee takes into account. It's about the body of work. And the reason Oklahoma and A&M are ranked ahead of Texas is the same reason Notre Dame is ranked ahead of Miami, because of their body of work. It really just doesn't necessarily matter that one team beat the other. That's not the only thing that matters. Florida State is unranked, and Alabama lost to Florida State. By that logic, should Virginia be ranked ahead of Alabama? Because Alabama lost to Florida State and Florida State lost to Virginia.
Florida be ranked ahead of Alabama by that logic too?
Yeah, like, you know how absurd some of these arguments are? The other one is the SEC bias thing, which I think is so unbelievable. I think it's a little bit like the Chiefs bias in the NFL. Nothing in the world, I think, could be more overstated than SEC bias. People say, well, the committee will bend over backwards to let in SEC teams. And it's like, no, that's not true at all. The SEC just has a lot of good teams. That's really all it is. They have a ton of good teams. They have 6 teams this year that have a legitimate argument for making the playoffs. That's just a fact. They have 6 teams.
One of those for you?
Yes, but I think they will. For me, I think Texas has a legitimate argument to make the playoffs. But I don't.
If it was up to me, I wouldn't put in a 9-3 Texas. If it was,
I wouldn't either. They don't deserve to be in my opinion. I don't care
because they're 9-3. Not because they're 9-3, but they're effectively a bad 10-2. That's effectively what Texas is. They're a 10-2 team they're a team with a weak 10-2 resume. Is effectively what they are. And the reason I wouldn't put them in is just, it's not that I don't think they have let me be clear. I think they have a legitimate argument. That doesn't mean I would put them in. I think there's probably 13 teams right now with legitimate arguments for the playoffs. Miami, the 6 in the SEC, Alabama, A&M, Oklahoma, Georgia, Texas, and Ole Miss all have legitimate arguments to get in from the SEC. And the Big
bunch of those that you just said to me are surefire locks.
Yeah.
You forgot Vanderbilt. You forgot Vandy too.
Yeah.
I think Vandy is no, I don't think they do, but they're close. They're close.
Why?
They're a little bit. Well, let me just finish. Then from the Big Ten, I think you got obviously Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon. Legit arguments for the playoff.
No, I think they're all going to make it. You don't. You don't think so?
Then Notre Dame. That's 10 teams. From the ACC, the only team I think is worthy at all is Miami. And then in the Big 12, BYU and Texas Tech.
Wait, you wouldn't take Virginia even if they win the ACC championship?
I mean, I know it's automatic.
They have to.
I know they have to, but I'm just giving what I think, not what the rule says.
No, Miami is the only legit team from the ACC that has a shot to do anything.
Right. So those are 13 teams that have a legit shot. And I think you can argue Vanderbilt has an argument too, and USC has an argument.
USC does not. I can safely say
USC does not. No way.
But I don't think Vanderbilt.
Will and I can attest that loss to Illinois is killing them right now.
Yep. I agree. But here's the thing. The point I'm making is that all 13 of those teams have a legitimate argument for them being top 12. I don't think Vanderbilt has a legitimate argument for being top 12. I think they're I don't think
they won what, 10 games?
They're a 10-win team. They don't have any really good wins. None of them are against ranked teams.
Tennessee on the road.
We just beat Tennessee on the road.
Tennessee is the only one.
They beat Missouri at home.
They have a legit argument, but if you compare them,
Alabama, good game,
right? But if you were to compare Vanderbilt to Texas, I would give it to Texas over Vanderbilt.
Interesting. Okay, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that.
I think Vanderbilt over Texas. I would. I don't care about
I wouldn't. I would take.
I don't care about the head-to-head.
But in fairness to Texas, they have a lot of bad things on their resume. However, they also have a lot of good things on their resume. They have a lot of good wins. They have a win against A&M. They have a win against Oklahoma, and they have a win against Vanderbilt. All three of those are very good wins, I think. I don't think Vanderbilt has a very good win against Tennessee. Texas has the head-to-head. They're both, to me, effectively 10-2 teams. That's why I would give it to Texas over Vanderbilt. I guess that's an argument to expand the playoff even more when you look at the teams now. I think
it's going to happen at some point.
But my issue is when I was talking about my issue with the playoff is I hate the at-large bids. I've talked about that a million times. I can't stand the at-large bids, the automatic group of 5, and I can't stand because I follow Brandon Walker on Twitter, the guy from Barstool.
Yeah,
he's a big SEC guy, and he was saying he tweeted something like, "Let's be honest, having the automatic bid for the ACC champion and the group of 5 at-large bid is just wasting 2 spots for teams."
He's 100% right,
and he's 100% correct
because most years those teams get their asses kicked every year.
And here's the thing, though. Here's the thing: people were commenting, "Oh, well, let's just let in all the SEC teams," and it's like
that's not his point, though. That's not
what he's saying. He didn't say they're taking up a spot from SEC teams. He said they're taking up a spot from teams that are more deserving and better than those teams. They don't have to be SEC teams. I mean, look, the SEC bias angle is so overplayed. It is so ridiculous. Like, I don't see why the committee would have such a bias for the SEC and would bend over backwards to put in SEC teams. Why would they do that? That doesn't even make it. What do they have to gain from putting in SEC teams? It makes no sense.
I just can't believe that if Duke wins the ACC, we're going to get 2 group of 5 teams in the college football playoff.
That is just so sad.
Like we're going to get the winner of the American and then a conference champion, James Madison, more than likely.
Yeah, and by the way, it's funny because people say the committee has an SEC bias. I actually think the opposite is true. I think they have more of a group of 5 bias than they have an SEC bias. Proof of this, by the way, is that Tulane is ranked 20th. Yeah. Tulane is or 2.5.
I can't even name a signature win that Tulane has.
Tulane,
Northwestern and Duke. Come on, Zan. They beat Northwestern and Duke both at home.
Dude, Tulane is ranked 1 behind Michigan. They are ranked 2 above.
I knew about the Northwestern one. I forgot about the Duke one.
They're ranked ahead of Georgia Tech and Iowa. They're ranked ahead of Georgia Tech and Iowa. You think that they don't have a group of 5 bias? Like, here's the thing.
Yeah, that's not crazy. I don't know what Tulane's proven to be ranked ahead
North
of.
Texas and James Madison are in the top 25. Nobody thinks these are top 25 teams. It's fucking stupid. And also,
Iowa, to be fair, shouldn't even be in there with 4 losses. What are they doing?
But I think Iowa's more worthy than these teams are. And quickly, because we do have to get to picks, which, by the way, I forget the group of 5 picks. We don't need to do it. Let's just do the Power 4. That's all we have time for anyway.
Okay, fair enough.
We can just say them quickly if you want to just say.
Well, we'll save them for the end if we have time.
All right.
But the point I'm making is Tulane are 2.5-point underdogs at home against North Texas.
Yeah, it's because Drew Mestemaker and the boys are going to get it done.
And the only reason they're ranked so high is because the committee knows they have to give it to one of those teams. And my thing is, no quotas, no automatic bids. Just give the top 12 teams. That's all you have to do. Like, I don't understand why we need quotas and we need automatic bids. We don't need automatic anything. We don't need qualifiers.
They had this idea that it's like it made the most sense that at least one representative from each major conference was going to get in. But this is this year that Duke has a chance to be the AC champions is creating such a big loophole in this because in no way, shape, or form should there be 2 group of 5 teams in the college football playoff. Like, come on, man. What are we doing here?
Well, I'd rather have 2 ACC teams in than 2 group of 5 teams.
I'd rather have no ACC in group of 5 teams.
Yeah, look. So the way I would do it, to be clear, the way I would do it is I would take 5 teams from the SEC. I would take Bama, Georgia, A&M, Oklahoma, and Ole Miss. I would take 3 from the Big Ten: Oregon, Indiana, and Ohio State. I would take Notre Dame. I would take Texas Tech, Miami, and BYU. That's who I would take.
That list sounds correct to me.
Yeah,
I would not take Texas over BYU. I think BYU,
I wouldn't either. You can't do it. You can't do it.
It's unfair.
Yeah, I think that would be unfair. I would take, but unfortunately, a few of those teams are going to be left out due to these ridiculously stupid rules.
Hey fans, Novig is here to change the way you play. Available right now in 35 states, Novig is America's #1 sports prediction market. It's 10 times more profitable than traditional sports books because there's no house edge. Instead, you're playing against other fans just like you. Novig is also the only free exchange, which means you get to keep every dollar you win. Whether you're putting down plays on the NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, college sports, or even UFC and tennis, Novig gives you the power to pick the best odds or set your own. Sign up today with the promo code ETB Network, and you'll get 1,000 Novig coins plus $5 in Novig cash, and special bonuses like spending $5 and getting $50. Novig, where fans play smarter. You must be 21 years or older to play. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Forever Power 5 is presented by Playback. Watching sports is more fun with others, but we spend too much of our time watching alone. Playback is a virtual space where communities can stream live sports together with everyone perfectly synced up. Creators can hop on stage, deliver their own play-by-play analysis and commentary, and invite viewers up for Q&A. Playback makes watching sports fully interactive and a social experience. From playing fantasy sports, repping your favorite players and teams, and watching the commentators and communities you care about. Win or lose, sports are best enjoyed together. Join our community by going to playback.tv/ETB network to find out more, including our live stream schedule. And now back to the show.
So anyway, I do want to get into our picks. We have about 15 minutes. All right. First, let's go to the Big 12 championship game. BYU versus Texas Tech. Texas Tech is giving 12.5. Let me just double check on Novig to make sure these odds haven't changed. They probably haven't changed that much. But I really, really love Texas Tech in this game. Texas Tech they have rolled through their schedule outside of the
Arizona State.
Yeah, 12.5. 12.5. Yeah, hasn't changed. Outside of that game that they played against Arizona State with their backup quarterback.
Yep.
They've rolled through their competition, and I think they're going to roll through BYU again. I really like Texas Tech here.
Well, what about you? I'll go last on this.
Same deal. Yeah. I mean, what did BYU show us in the first time they played? Nothing. They didn't show a single thing. I mean, that game was over when the ball was kicked off. So, like, I don't see, like, I get that they say that it's really hard to beat a team twice in a year. I don't discredit that. It's true. Texas Tech is just here. BYU's there. It's just like BYU is not on the same level that Texas Tech healthy is a legit national championship contender. I will say that because this team is rolling through the Big 12. Would they have this record in the SEC? I don't know, but I think they'd still be a very good football team in the SEC. All I'm saying is that Texas Tech is on this level right here among the country's elite. BYU is a very good to great team, I'd say. There's a pretty big gap there, though. So, yeah, give me the Red Raiders to roll in this one as well. And Texas Tech, BYU, it's a Big 12 game. Let's hit that O. Let's go with that O.
Okay, so you like Texas Tech to cover, and you like the over to hit. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I like the over too. I put that down. Texas Tech and the over.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I'm going to go a little bit differently than you guys. I actually think for whatever reason this championship weekend is about to get very weird, and I actually think BYU makes this thing very interesting. They will lose, but I think because they've had a few weeks to prepare and rust up, I actually think for whatever reason they will be ready to go, and they should be able to stay in this near 2-touchdown number. But it could very well be wrong just because Texas Tech is dynamic everywhere. But I just think for whatever reason we're going to get a Big 12 game, at least a championship game here that's competitive, because most of the last couple, at least when you look at the last 7 or 8, I think a good handful of them have been pretty competitive. So I'm going to go a little bit differently than you guys and say that BYU covers the number. So,
all right, fair enough. Georgia versus Alabama. Georgia versus Alabama. Georgia is giving 2.5. Over under is 47.5. I really like Georgia here. I know we were. I really like Georgia here. I know we were talking about. I forgot to bring this one up when we were talking about ranking teams. I mean, people forget Georgia's ranked ahead of Alabama.
Nick D, just to clarify, you only like Georgia, or you like a number or two in this game? You like the over under too?
I like the in the Alabama Georgia game.
Correct.
I like the I don't know, why is this banner for 10 seconds? I don't understand how you do that. How that happens.
Oh, I guess that's
it's set for 10 seconds. I guess I could turn it off. Stupid thing. Timer off. All right, we're good. So I like Georgia and I like the over. The reason is because Georgia's been getting into a lot of shootouts this season. I know they have a very good defense. So I just think that in these types of games, I think they tend to go over. I could see there being a lot of back and forth late in the game and big plays, which would end up putting the game over. That's why I like the over. I like Georgia because right now Georgia looks like a better team. I think Alabama has taken a step back and Georgia has taken a step forward. I think that if Georgia does a good job against Alabama's passing game, they should win this game and cover the number. That's what I think. And I think that they can definitely do that, just like what Oklahoma did against Alabama's passing game. Now, part of the reason Alabama lost that game was a muffed punt and a lot of bad and just some stupid mistakes that cost them the game. But overall, right now, I think Georgia looks better. I think Georgia's the best team in the SEC right now. They're not the best team in the country. I think they're probably the 3rd or 4th best team in the country. Right now, and it's also hard to beat the same team twice. I really like Georgia. I really like Georgia here.
Okay. I'm going to disagree with you, Nick D, and I don't know, Will, what direction you're going in, but I actually really like Alabama to cover this number. I just think from what I've seen from Ty Simpson the last month, I just think whoever has the ball last has a chance to win this one, and I think Ty Simpson will make a few more plays than Stockton will, and don't be surprised if this game goes to overtime, because these Alabama-Georgia games are always a classic, and I see this SEC championship game being nothing more than that. I think it'll be a good one. Well, what do you think?
Does Kirby Smart still have his Alabama problem?
Yo,
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Dumb narrative. That's such a dumb narrative because Alabama is a good team, and nobody doesn't have an Alabama problem. That's just stupid.
I know. I was kind of just making fun of it.
Yeah, ridiculous.
No, I like Georgia here. I think that this actually kind of goes against what I was saying with Texas Tech, BYU. These two teams are right here with each other, and I know that Alabama beat them in between the hedges earlier this year, but I just think that Georgia, they know each other's play styles now, and both teams could obviously base that off of the first game, but Georgia just didn't play that well and against Alabama. Like that fourth down where they ran it and they didn't get the first down, like that's something I don't think Georgia would do in this game. And if they get the first down that game, they probably actually end up beating Alabama at home. So it's like
also a really bad penalty.
True. So yeah, I think that this goes against saying the whole thing of what I said for Texas Tech BYU. I think that this is going to be really hard for Alabama to beat a team twice in here. And last time we saw a rematch of this game in a season, Georgia did win the game. So historically speaking, if things hold, Georgia's going to win this one. So yeah, I'm going to take Georgia minus that 2.5. I'm not going to touch a total though.
All right, not a bad idea. All right, so Indiana versus Ohio State. On unnecessary wagers, I picked Indiana first half, and I stand by that. But for the game, I just don't think 4.5 points is enough for Indiana. I think Ohio State covers. I can see there being a bit of a backdoor cover. I do think Ohio State is on a whole nother level than Indiana. I think Indiana is probably more comparable to A&M. I think that's really what they are. They haven't played that tough of a schedule. They're a very good team. A&M ended up losing the last week. Indiana never lost, but they have had some close calls. I just think Ohio State right now is on a whole nother level than Indiana. I really do. I think they're the most talented team in the country, even though their schedule has not been particularly tough. But then when they were tested against Michigan, they took care of business and they won and they destroyed them. So I like Ohio State here minus the 4.5.
Well, what about
I like the over? I like Ohio State and the over.
Yeah, I'm gonna first off go on a limb and say I love the under. I think these are two very good defenses that are gonna be clashing, and I don't think both offenses are gonna have great days at all. So I'm gonna say I love the under in this game because I expect like a 24-20 type of deal or like a 21-17 type of deal. I think this is gonna be a slugfest, to be honest. Two great defenses going at it. But even though I'm saying that, but
I would say they're more offensive teams than defensive teams.
Yeah, that's kind of how I view them too.
The thing is, Indiana's defense is very underrated, and I don't know. I feel like you look at Ohio State's schedule, and you really think they're more of an offensive team. I mean, their defense is the most points they've allowed this year is 16.
But look at the teams that they played. Most of them.
I know that's also true. I don't know. I'm just saying both teams have very good defenses.
They only really good offense they played for Washington, I think.
They both do have very good offenses too. These two teams are fantastic. They're both great football teams, both elite football teams.
Well, they're not just elite. This is a rare case of the number 1 and number 2 teams playing in the Big Ten championship. If you would have told,
it's pretty cool. It's pretty
cool.
Cool.
If you would have told me that at the beginning of the season, I don't know if I would have believed it.
Right? Yeah, no kidding. But I think Indiana's going to keep this close. I think they're going to be able to. I think they're going to lose by the hook right there. I think they're going to be able to be on the right side of that hook. I think Ohio State's going to win this game by 4 points. And it might be a backdoor cover for Indiana. They might score a late touchdown, something like that, to make it the cover.
Interesting.
But yeah, I think that Indiana's going to be able to be on the right side of the hook for them. So yeah, I'm going to take Indiana to cover this 4.5.
I can see that. I could see that happening potentially. I could see the 4.5. I could see Indiana, Ohio State being maybe being down. Oh, actually, that's kind of impossible. But I was just doing the math in my head about being down a touchdown. But I just think Ohio State's a better team than Indiana.
No, I don't disagree with that at all. I tend to agree with you. I'm just saying that Indiana's right there. Ohio State's here, Indiana's right there. There is such a small gap between them because Indiana is really, really good.
It's true.
Yeah. And finally, the
Zan, we got to get to Zan.
oh, I'm sorry, Zan. Did we not get to you yet?
No, not yet. It's all good though. It's all good. I'm actually going to disagree here with Will, and I'm going to side with Nick D slightly and say that I think this is going to be an offensive shootout because the only way India can win this game, in my opinion, is if it matches Julian Zain and company score for score. So I'm going to say Ohio State not only covers the number here, but I do think the over comfortably hits by a pretty considerable amount. My final score prediction for this game is going to be Ohio State 45, Indiana 30. It'll be a good game.
That's a lot of points there.
Mm-hmm.
I never make score predictions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I don't think it's going to look quite like that. I could see maybe like I could see. I don't think it'll be that high scoring. I could see maybe something like 30-24. I think that
I'm saying mine's 24-20.
I think I'm kind of in the middle. I think I don't think it's gonna be 24-20. I don't think it's gonna be 45-30. I think it'll be somewhere in the middle. All right. Finally we get to the didn't earn it bowl. Duke versus Virginia. Virginia is giving 3.5, over under is 57.5. I do have very, very strong feelings about this game. I'll go to you first, Zan.
Yeah, this is the game I care the least about. If it was Miami in this game, I think I'd be a little bit more interested. But Duke has shown me nothing, in my opinion, to deserve to be there, and Virginia's been a feel-good story, and this may be one of its final feel-good moments of the year. So I'm just going to go conservative and say that I think Virginia covers the number, and I think that over-under is way too high. Way, way, way too high. It should be more like 49.5 as opposed to 57.5. But that's just me. I feel like for an ACC game, at least I haven't fully paid attention to the ACC as much as I should have this year. But to me, that just seems like a very, very, very steep number. So I don't know.
Go ahead, Will.
Duke is 7-5 and playing in a conference championship game. Who would pick them? Me. I'm picking.
You're picking them. No way.
I'm picking Duke. I just like. I don't know why, but for some reason I feel like they're going to hang around and either keep this game close or win it outright. I don't know why. It's just like they do not have any business being in this game. That just like it just spells that they're going to like make something weird happen, either win this game or cover that number. Because even if Virginia wins by a field goal, they still cover. So I don't know. I don't think Virginia's done a whole lot this year, even though they're a feel-good story. They're fun. They've been a fun team to kind of watch how they've gone throughout the season. Both these teams aren't that good. Like they're just both these teams aren't that good. So yeah.
By the way, the ACC deserves this. They deserve this.
I think that number is pretty low for a reason. I mean, like I feel like they want people to pick Virginia to win this game, and I just feel like it's too obvious not to pick Duke here. Like Duke has the pieces.
You feel like it's a trap line?
I do.
It is. It is for sure.
I very much do. I'm not touching the total because I think that number's crazy, but
I think so too. We're both in agreement. It's unbelievable.
I'm going Duke plus 3.5 here. I feel pretty confident about it.
All right. So
okay, we'll see what happens.
All right. So I really like Virginia minus 3.5. And I'll put real money on Virginia, although part of me wants Duke to win just so it can prove how bad just so it could show the world how bad the current format is for the playoffs and see an unqualified Duke team get in. So part of me wants to see that. I guess it would be the same thing with Virginia. It wouldn't be that much different, but Duke is worse.
I can't wait for conference champion Duke to be playing in the Pop-Tarts Bowl, man.
Yeah. But the thing with Duke is that their offense has certainly their production on offense, and Darian Mensah, the quarterback, their production has gone way down later in the season.
Their production's gone way down because they keep getting exposed. That's why.
Well, okay, so against Duke had the second fewest passing yards all season. against Virginia and the fewest total yards of offense and by far the fewest rushing yards. So Virginia's defense seems to, and this game wasn't even all that long ago, Virginia's defense seems to have Duke's offense's number. And I think it's going to be the same. I think it's going to be a fairly similar situation. So it's not just that. I also love the under in this game because I don't think Duke is going to score enough. I mean, 57.5 seems a little high for an over-under in this game. So
Yep.
I'm taking Virginia and I'm taking the under.
All right.
All right. Thanks
I've
for
heard
tuning in.
recently.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. That's our show. I'm Nick DiMartino. That's Zain Bando. That's Will Charlton. This is Forever Power 5. We'll be back next week. See you guys then.
See you then. Have a good one.